In this video, I'm gonna show you almost every input field type available in HTML. So I'm gonna create the form where I will be working with the input fields. So form, the action would be content.html, the method would be get, and in the form I'm gonna create a paragraph. Inside the paragraph I will write username colon, then I'm gonna write the input tag. The type would be text. I'm gonna give a name which would be username. I'm gonna give an ID which will be also username. Save the file. You can see we have the text username and a text box. Let me create a button with the input tag. So input, the type would be submit. Save the file. You can see the button. For the input tag I'm gonna write a break tag. Let me add 2 more breaks so it looks nice. Okay, now let's say user comes to your form, but if he does not write here anything and clicks on the submit button, the form gets submitted. But I want to prevent this. For that I'm gonna write the required attribute. So if I write this attribute and save the file, now if user clicks on the submit button, the form does not get submitted. It shows a warning which is please fill out this field. So he has to write at least something. So if he writes A and clicks on submit, now the form gets submitted. So let's say you want that at least he should write minimum 3 characters. For that you can write the min length attribute and here write 3. Save the file. Now if he writes A and try to submit, it shows an warning which says he must enter 3 characters. So now if he writes 3 characters then click submit, the form gets submitted. Then let's say some users may type mumbo jumbo here. You want to prevent this, so you can write the max length attribute and give a value 12. Save the file. Now he won't be able to write more than 12 characters. If he writes, the text box won't allow him to write more than 12 characters. We can write the autofocus attribute, autofocus. So whenever the page loads, this text box should be on focus. You can see the text box gets focused when the page loads. You can see when I try to write something, the browser tries to autocomplete with suggestions. If you want to turn this off, you can set the autocomplete attribute to off. Save the file. Now if you write something, browser won't try to autocomplete. You can give here many values. For example, you can help the user autocompleting billing, CC number, CC type, country name, and many other things. URL, work. For this moment I'm gonna write off. We can give a placeholder here like enter your name. Save the file. You can see a gray text which says enter your name, and we can give the value attribute as well, and we can give the disabled attribute. If you want that user should not able to write here something, then we can make this field disabled. Let me remove this for this moment. Save the file. And if you are making a search box, you can make this type attributes value search. So this would indicate that this is a search box where user will enter his query. Let me make this text again. Save the file. Okay, then let's say I'm gonna give a break tag and write a paragraph tag. Here I want the email of our users, so I'm gonna write the input tag again, input, and the type would be email. Save the file. We have another text box. We can use the other attributes available with respect to the input type text field, so we can use these attributes here also. So if we set the input type email, let's see what happens. If I fill the username Adil and write here something mumbo jumbo and try to submit, you can see there is a warning which says please include an @ and a valid email address. You can see the warning. So user must have to enter a valid email address. gmail.com. Then it will allow to submit the form. Let me copy this and paste this. Let's say we want number of our user, and here the input type would be tel. Save the file. Now user has to put a telephone number here, otherwise it will show warning. Then I'm gonna copy this, paste this again. Here I'm gonna write work experience, then the type would be number. Save the file. Here user won't able to write any letters, they must have to write numbers here. You can see, and by these up arrow and down arrow they can reduce and increase the number. We can set a minimum or maximum value for the field. So I will write the minimum attribute, which is the mean. Let's say the minimum value should be 3 and the maximum would be 7. Save the file. Now user won't be able to write 2, 1. If he writes and try to submit, it will show warnings. If user writes here 2 and tries to submit, it will show a warning which will say value must be greater than or equal to 3. And if he writes here 8 and tries to submit, you can see value must be less than or equal to 7. So if he writes here 4 and clicks on submit, then the form will be get submitted. I'm gonna make this part comment also, and again in a paragraph tag I'm gonna write, let's say, birthday, and I'm gonna write the input tag, and the type would be date. Save the file. You can see a date picker in our web page. Here user can select his birthday. We can add some validations here, like the minimum date we accept is 2000, month would be 01 and date would be 01. User born before this date won't be able to sign up, and we can give a maximum value, let's say 20230909. So users who are born after this date, they are not allowed to sign up. You can see we can't go after 2023 and we can't go before 2000 also. You can see is not allowed to go 1999. I'm gonna comment this out. Before that I'm gonna copy this, then comment this. After that I'm gonna paste this, and here I'm gonna write, let's say, color. I'm gonna remove these attributes, and in the input type I'm gonna write color. I save the file. You can see there is a color picker in our web page. From here user can pick colors like this. I'm gonna copy this, make this comment. After that I'm gonna paste this. Then we can create check boxes. Check box, if we give the type here, which would be checkbox, you can see there is a checkbox. And one thing you should remember, that I'm not giving any name or IDs to these fields, but you must have to give a name and an ID while working with input fields. I'm not giving any name or ID to save some time, but when you will work with input fields, you must have to give a name and an ID. Let me give a break tag. I'm gonna copy this and paste. The paragraph text would be date time local, and the type would be date time local. Save the file. You can see here user can select a date and write a time also, like 12:30 AM or PM, like this. Then we can create hidden input fields. Hidden, I'm gonna write here hidden, and the type would be hidden. If I save the file, the input field is not visible. I'm gonna copy this, paste this. The paragraph text would be here, file, and the input type would be file as well, file. Save the file. You can see here is the option, user can select files from here. You can see user can select a video, pictures, and upload by clicking on this choose file option. I'm gonna add the accept attribute here and write the value, which is image/star. This means user will only able to upload images. So if I save the file and click on this option, which is choose file, you can see only images are shown the videos are hidden. Users can't select videos. I'm gonna copy this, then paste. Let's create an image button. I'm gonna write image button. On the input type we will have image. Let's remove this accept attribute and give the attribute src, which accepts an image path. Let's give an width which is 20 pixels. Save the file. Now you can see an image button here. Then copy this, again paste. The paragraph text would be select month. Let's remove these attributes and the type would be month. Save the file. Now you have an option to select months. Copy this, paste. This time let's say we have password field. The type would be also password. Save the file. If users write here anything, it will be shown in dotted format. You can use the attributes like required, min length, max length, all those attributes we used in the first input field. Those are supported here also in every text field. Basically, I'm gonna copy this, paste again. Then we have radio button. Save the file. The paragraph text should be radio. Save the file. You can see a radio button. I explained these radio and checkbox buttons in my previous videos. You can check those videos in my channel. I'm gonna copy this, paste this. Then we have a range. Save the file. Here the type would be range also. Save. You can see we have a range selector slider. We can give mean attribute here. The mean value would be 1. We can give the max attribute as well. Let's say it would be 10. We can give a value here. Let's say 3. Save the file. You can see this slider has 1 to 10 value and 3 is selected. We can give the slider interval with the step attribute. Let's say it would be 1. Save the file. Now it will increase 1 1 1, means 1 by 1 will be increased when user will pull this slider. I'm gonna copy this, paste again. We can create a reset button. Let's remove these attributes. The type would be reset. The value would be reset. Save the file. You can see the reset button. I'm gonna cut this reset button and place it after the submit button. Let me delete this text. Save the file. You can see we have two buttons, submit button and a reset button. Let me copy this, paste again. Then we have time input field. So I'm gonna write the time. The type would be time as well. Save the file. You can see we can write time in this field, 12:30 p.m. like this. I'm gonna copy this. This time the text would be week and the input type would be week as well. Save the file. Now users will be able to select week from calendar. Then I'm gonna copy this, and this is the last one, which is type of URL. So I'm gonna write URL and the paragraph text would be link. Save the file. Here user have to enter a valid URL or link, otherwise he won't able to submit the form. So if he clicks on the form, it will show an warning that you must enter a valid URL to submit the form. So these are all the input types available in HTML. That's all for now. See you in the next one.